Steve Gamache with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and the knife we're looking at is the Gihei Aogami or Blue No. 2 Santoku 165mm knife. And as mentioned, the core steel in this line of knives is Aogami or Blue Paper No. 2 reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi. Heat treat targets around 62 to 63 Rockwell on that core steel. Construction is a 3-layer sandwich. And so what you've got is a softer stainless cladding on either side of that core steel, and it does cover the top of the knife and the spine as well. So the only reactive part of the knife is the core steel exposed at the edge from the grind, so that makes maintenance a bit easier. So the weight on this knife is about 4.7 ounces or 134 grams, and as we'll see, these have pretty stiff spines. That's just the way they like to grind them, and they're very or I should say fairly thick spines with stiff, robust blades with a great grind on them. But the edge length on this one's about 163 on the edge, or 6.4 inches. And the weights and dimensions are going to vary just a little bit from knife to knife, so they're all handmade. So this is what this one is. The site might show something slightly different, but anyway, they can vary a little bit. The overall length, just about a foot on this, about 12 inches from the tip to the end of the handle. And the spine thickness, again, will vary, but this one coming out of the handle above the back of the blade or the chin is about 3.5 millimeters. And it thins down over the next couple inches and then pretty much maintains, I don't know, 2.5 maybe, or a little bit less than that maybe till you hit the tip. And it grinds, the ground tip is pretty thin, so this thins out real nicely at the very, very tip. But it is a stiff blade, very stiff blade, very confidence inspiring. The blade height is about 47.1 millimeters on this example. And the handle, I've got a typo here, but it's not octagonal, it's oval. It's an oval ambidextrous magnolia handle with a buffalo horn ferrule. Really nice handle, actually. It's got a very smooth transition between the ferrule and the wood. Nice fit and finish on the install, pretty tight install. And it's the balance point that brings the knife to for this particular knife is right about there, which will be a little bit behind a pinch grip for me, so real light, nimble feel. Got enough room there to get your finger in for a pinch grip. And handle circumference, you can see, is about 3 inches, or standard size. That's where the ferrule meets the wood, so pretty standard size handle. Let's take a close-up look at the knife. These are nicely made. They're not quite as refined as, let's say, Masakage Yuki series, but they're pretty close, and they've got maybe just a little more character, which I think is a pretty cool combination. They have a pear skin or nishiji finish on the blade face, and it's a fairly shallow finish, so it's not as deep as some other nishiji finishes, so it's kind of a subtle effect. And you've got their embossed kanji and then their horse logo, pretty cool. So there's no chiseled kanji or anything on there, but they're embossed and they're done nicely. On the back side of the blade, you've got some embossed kanji as well. There's your core steel showing at the edge, pretty easy to see that. Fit and finish is nice on the spine and on the choil and the neck into the handle, real comfortable. Nothing you have to do out of the box. The grinds on these they're ground really quite well, and the grinds are pretty consistent. They're fairly thin, actually quite thin at the very edge where it really counts. So even though the blade is fairly thick at the spine, you can see the tip gets really thin on these. The edge is also thin. The performance is very, very good on these knives. It's a really good combination of performance and also robustness at the same time for the blade thickness that they have. Really nice job on that. The let's see here. Let's look at the cutting board profile. This steel has been great for me. I sharpened this one, and then I sharpened and used the 240. And the steel is probably some of the best sharpening Blue No. 2 steel I've yet encountered, and some other people on the boards have said they've had great luck with it. So the steel is just getting super sharp for me. I'm no expert, and it's just getting stinking sharp for me. So this is a great rendition of Blue No. 2 or Aogami No. 2 steel. Here's your profile. Kind of just low curve throughout, not a lot of belly towards the tip, so you're not going to be able to rock it much. And again, every knife can be a little different. That's what this one's ground like. You can see the point is quite low in relation to the knife line, so you're not going to get a lot of belly here. This is not a rocker at all. Not at all. I'm digging the tip in way down there. So you can rock over some small stuff like scallions or herbs or something like that, but you're not going to rock over big stuff, at least with this particular blade. So you've got a fair amount of flat spot towards the back third, but again, you'll have to put some motion in your cutting strokes to kind of take advantage of that arc or curve of the profile. But it's a pretty nice, well-crafted profile. It's very smooth on the board. And again, if you kind of adjust your stroke, or if you've got a stroke that kind of works with this, it's a really nice knife. So this is just a great line of knives. These are well-crafted, great core steel on them, nice handles, stiff, confident blades, just a nice line of knives. So here you have the Gihei Aogami No. 2 Santoku 165mm knife.